Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com.
Here he is, Arthur Aidala. Artie, good morning. How are you, pal?
Good morning. All right, I'm rehearsing, Sid. How does this sound? Folks, back in 1983, far down on the heights called Diker at Poly Prep, no one thought we would be here today to induct Sid Rosenberg into the Radio Hall of Fame. He was a skinny little kid who was in a carpool with Bruce Sharrett and Joe Tacopina. And
by the way, don't forget George Small. Don't forget George Small.
Right, George Small. Yeah, and his trajectory was not on the path of being in any Hall of the Fame, except maybe the kid who failed out of school Hall of Fame. And yet, here we are, all these years later, so proud of one of Brooklyn's native sons who have risen to the pinnacle of his career. And we all stand and applaud him and his entire family for reaching this achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member to the New York Radio Hall of Fame, Sid Rosenberg. How'd I do?
You're hired. Lou, you're done. That's it.
How was that audition?
That was fantastic. I mean it. That was fantastic.
Congratulations, Artie.
Oh, look how nice Lou is. Look, Lou's not even mad.
I'll standing there 5 minutes before we begin when Sid comes over. Hey, you want to say a few words?
Listen, Artie is in that group of people who need to be considered, and that really was excellent just now. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. That was great. Tacopina, too, both you guys.
It is. Look, it is true, Sid. I was right behind you in terms of trajectories back in the 1980s.
Yeah, all three of us. All three of us. I mean, Artie, to be honest, all three of us, me, you, and Joseph, were voted in the polyglot least likely to succeed. You as well. So really, all three of us have exceeded expectations.
They canceled that whole thing back, I think, even right before I graduated, because there used to be a category called Class Amazon. And it has, think about how times have changed. It had to do with a woman in the class who was like the biggest, bulkiest woman. Yeah. And they voted this girl in, and she was hysterically crying. Oh. And that was it. The headmaster, you can't say headmaster, the head of school said, no, we're not doing that one anymore. So, those are the days, Sid. Well, congratulations on it. When you sent me the text that you were getting it, I was like, right on, my man. And, it's going to be a wonderful day for you and your family. I was blessed to get the Bar Association, their addition of the Hall of Fame. And you'll see, as much as you'll be proud of yourself, looking down at Ava and Gabriel, and she'll have to come up from Pennsylvania with her new school. That's what's going to make you proud, because your kids are going to be like, wow, look at this. My dad's in the hall. That's cool stuff.
Thank you, Artie.
We do it all for them at this point, right? We're on our way out. We're on the back nine.
No, listen, there's no back nine. I'm on 13. Way past back nine. I may be on 14, and you're right, and you're a great father, too. And again, that was awesome, that little speech you just wrote, impromptu. That was great. But you talk about my daughter, Ava, and these days, you see my daughter as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm sad. She's splitting. I mean, she's going to such an unbelievable school. I mean, it's a top 4 law school. She's going to get her master's in law, which is a degree higher than anyone you mentioned. I don't even think Dershowitz has a master's in law. I know Tacopina and I couldn't even spell master's, let alone achieve a master's in law. So her trajectory, unlike ours, is she's headed towards the stars, and it's well deserved. Thank God she has her mother's DNA.
Yes, she does. No question about it. Gabriel, too. He's on his way to doing special things. He's got not one but 2 amazing jobs this summer, both of which I'll share at a later date. The great Arthur Aidala, that's been a tremendous first 6 minutes, Artie, I got to tell you. Let's get to some of these cases people want to hear about. We got about 7 minutes to go. Let's start with Tyler Robinson. I did have my friend Donna Rotuna on the show yesterday. You know Donna very, very well. She's on Fox News just about every day. She's live in Provo, Utah, covering this Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk case. This is a preliminary hearing. They just want to make sure there's enough evidence to charge this guy with murder. And it seems to me, again, a layman, I'm not an attorney, there's a ton of evidence to charge Tyler Robinson, yes?
Yes. The real question is why the prosecutor chose to go this direction as opposed to and they had the option to what we do here in New York, which is just have a grand jury. Now, in New York, you could have a preliminary hearing like they're doing, but it almost never happens. It's always a secret thing behind closed doors with the grand jury, and they could have done that here. But I think what they wanted to do was show the public, look, this is the overwhelming evidence we have against this guy. And it is a way for the prosecutor to taint the jury pool, which has been the defense attorney's objections. You know, you're putting all of this evidence out there now, evidence, some of it that would not be admitted in the trial, but you're just showing, what an airtight case that you have. So they've done something that would not be done in our area here in terms of geographical area, but they're letting you know, hey, we got materials with his DNA on it. We have videos of him surveying the campus before. We have evidence that he was at the scene. We have statements from his roommate. I mean, they have an absolute overwhelming case. It's probably going to be up to, and this is a guesstimate, Erica Kirk, whether they actually seek the death penalty or they allow him to plead to something where he would serve life without parole.
Right.
Usually prosecutors' offices lean heavily into the deceased family as to what their wishes are. And I believe, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, she's already been out there in observing her faith, saying like she forgives him.
She did.
Right.
She did say that like the day after he was murdered. And, you look at Luigi Mangione in New York and the Thompson family, that nice guy who was murdered. That's what he was, murdered, very cowardly, cold blood. Mangione shot him from behind. They won't have that opportunity here in New York. There'll be no death penalty. They've lost that already. But now you've got not one but two cases. You got a state case against Mangione. You got a federal case against Mangione. There's no way this guy doesn't serve the rest of his life behind bars. So why exactly are we wasting our time, Arthur?
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Sid. The only thing that Luigi, in my opinion, has going for him is his age. So that hypothetically, if he gets between the two jurisdictions, the state and the federal, if he winds up with 50 years, maybe he gets out at 78, 79, 80. But, what kind of life is that? I mean, the evidence there from what we've seen, what's been put on television and the newspaper, you say it's a murder. I mean, it's like an execution, really. I mean, right, the guy's right behind him. It's on video. The evidence that the judge is letting in, the backpack, the journal, the weapon. And then they said, well, we're going to go with a mental disease, a defect defense. And then the next day they withdrew it, which is definitely not typical, because when you say you're going with that defense, you're admitting he did it, and then there's the excuse why he did it. So you said for like 20 hours, yeah, he did it, but there's a reason why he did it, and then you pulled it back. So, and you're in two very difficult jurisdictions, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the Southern District of New York. So, yes, I believe Sid Rosenberg's analysis that Mr. Mangione will be spending many, many, many years or several decades behind bars is 100% accurate.
What a low life.
And then, in the Eastern District of New York, which is Brooklyn, I'm representing your good friends. I'm representing Frank, technically, but Frank and his brother, Anthony Carone, in a 3-year investigation where they went up every orifice that any human being could have.
No, listen, I spoke to, I'm closer with Anthony, but I love Frank, too. Curtis Lee was a scumbag, doing videos and dancing. I even yelled at Bo, to be honest. I'm very, very close with Anthony. I do love Frank. And, those guys, they kind of waited every morning for that knock at the door, and they got it. And now here we are. Now, I knew that you represented them in the arraignment. I didn't realize you were their attorney as well, which is great because you're as good as it gets. So I'm glad they've got you.
Yeah.
So tell me about what.
Technically, I'm Frank's attorney.
Okay.
But Anthony's. I mean, look. There's several lawyers involved. They're all excellent. My biggest problem is I've been friends with Frank since 1996 or 1997. So there's this personal aspect of it, which puts that many more cinder blocks on your shoulders when you're representing someone someone who you were at his daughter's wedding
right.
Not that long ago.
Right.
But
no, I got to tell you, I know you know this because I said this to you. I found out about this from Katzmatidis. I was walking to the Western Wall, which they call the Kotel in Jerusalem, to pray. I swear to God. It was my last day in Israel. It was a Wednesday afternoon. And in fact, I was about to call the radio station, which I did from a little cafe just outside the Western Wall. I started crying. I mean, I was really upset. So tell me what's going on with this case.
The bottom line is they did a very huge, thorough, long-term investigation. They spoke to everyone around the world of the Carones, everybody, including his priest. I mean, wrap your brain around that one. And they came up with a set of facts, which, again, I have to watch what I say because I'm involved with the case. But let's just say they're not overwhelming. We spoke about Robinson. We talk about Mangione. Whatever that is on the one side of the spectrum, this is on the exact other side of the spectrum in terms of strength of cases. So, there's plenty for good lawyers to work on. Forget about reasonable doubts. There are tons of doubts. And, we're rolling up our sleeves. Frank wants the fastest trial possible. Yep. And to get in front of a jury, his exact words were, if anyone says the word plea, they'll be off the legal team. So we're going full steam ahead. Good. And, he's my educated guess, having been doing this since 1992, is everything's going to be okay in the long run.
I love that. Frank and Anthony Carone are good buddies. One more, another guy you're representing who everybody loves, and that is Sergeant Eric Duran. Been quiet. I don't know what you guys are in the midst of some type of appeal. I don't know. What is going on with Vinny Vallalon's guy, Eric Duran?
Yeah, so Vinny, first of all, if there's any positive that's come out of the Eric Duran thing, it's that my relationship with Vinny, what a good guy.
Great
really,
guy.
On several levels, just a really good guy. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. I have a very my appellate team is very experienced. Diana Fabi was in the Manhattan DA's office in the appellate bureau for 10 years. Judge Barry Cammons has argued more appellate cases than I can count. And Judge John Leventhal was the appellate judge who heard them all. So that trifecta, and I know you're going to love to hear this because you're very close with Harvey Weinstein, that's the trifecta that got Harvey Weinstein's case overturned in a very, very difficult, environment. I mean, look, most people love Eric Duran, right? People with their heads screwed on straight. There's too many people out there, except maybe his own children, who love Harvey Weinstein. So it was a huge hurdle to get that case reversed, just from the public perception point of view. But I will tell you, Judge Cammons, who has been with me over 10 years now in my law firm, I have not seen him so energetic and so motivated about an appeal. And Diana, because most of it's on video, Sid, and it's unlike regular cases where there's a jury, this was a judge's verdict. It was one human being's verdict. So you get to argue the facts to the appellate court. So you get to retry the case to the appellate court. You don't normally, 95% of the time, you don't get to do that. You talk about the law, the law, the law. Here we're going to get to talk about the facts and how all Eric was doing when he acted that day was saving the lives of at least 2 police officers and 1 civilian. The video shows that. And that case, we have to submit our brief in August. They'll probably get theirs back in November. And my guess is that case is going to be argued January, February, and then you got to wait for the court's decision. The best part, though, is one of the judges on the appellate division has let Eric Duran stay at liberty during this process. So he's home. He's with his family. He's a great guy. and we are really digging in deep to make sure he gets exonerated.
Let him know New York loves him like they love you. This was an amazing. I mean, you're always great. You're great at this. You're great on TV. You're great at this. Was one of your best ever, I gotta say, Artie. So, thank you so much for the other.
Because you like the way I introduced you.
Yes, yes.
Your Hall of Fame introduction.
Right. You could have gotten.
Everyone's fighting over it. I mean, I just assume Trump is doing it, right? Isn't Trump going to introduce you into the Hall of Fame?
I am not at liberty to share that yet. He just got home from Turkey. He's a little tired. But on a serious note, you were great. Really, really great. Arthur Aidala, I love you. Thank you so much.
Boy. Congrats on everything. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Great job. There he is, the amazing defense attorney, Arthur Aidala, back on Sid and Friends in the Morning.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Let me tell you something, folks. I know luxury cars. I've driven the German brands. I paid the prices. And then I got into a Genesis. And I said, wait a second. This is luxury. The look, the performance, the comfort, whether it's a sleek G70, I love that car, or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.